Hey everybody, we are here at SEMA 2022. It's day 3, Thursday morning. It is gray and rainy outside in Las Vegas, but we have the pleasure of being here at the booth for the African American Racers Association, and we are here with Chris Harris, who is the creator of this organization. And we wanted to chat with them. This is a really exciting organization. They've partnered with SEMA for a really cool exhibit. They've had a number of guests here over the week that we've gotten a chance to say hi to because the Raising Junk booth is literally across the way. So it's been a super pleasure for ours. And I'd love to turn it over to Chris a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit both about this exhibit and about the organization?
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
course.
the opportunity. So I created the African American Racers Association in 2020. I've been in this industry for a number of years now, and I just saw a lot of lack of diversity on the executive level. And then also within my direct vicinity, I would help a lot of individuals who are having trouble getting to various facilities to host events just based on preconceived notions of what people thought they might be doing. So I decided that, you know what, I need to reach more people versus just the individuals within my reach. So I created this organization, and the first thing I wanted to do was educate the public on the African American heroes of the past. So on our website, we have a Hall of Fame, and we talk about since 1897 on all of the accomplishments that have happened. In addition to that, we have an education component to where we go to inner cities and we expose kids to the motorsports industry. So, you know, I came in from an area that it was only stick and ball sports. You really didn't have any other opportunity to do anything else. And I loved cars.
Right.
But there was no option after that in my eyes. I didn't grow up in the Carolinas where racing is, you know, all over the place. So we introduced these kids to motorsports using STEM and STEAM.
Okay.
And then also we let them know, hey, graphic design, there's contract management, there's business management, there's so many other things you could do in the motorsports industry to increase the participation, to increase the diversity, and bring new ideas to the sport and the industry that we love.
That's amazing. So how did you and SEMA connect to put together this exhibit?
So I've been coming to SEMA for about 7 years now, and then I reached out to them about 3 years ago, and I said, hey guys, we really need to do something about the lack of diversity. And wasn't it just, you know, as far as color or gender, but, you know, the type of vehicles that were here. So big shout out to SEMA because they really, Tom and Nathan really took it seriously. And they understood that, hey, we don't know how to go about this, but let's align and let's talk about this and see what we can do. So fast forward to last year, they hired Pamela Brown Mathis, and she handles the education sector at SEMA, and she also deals with diversity and inclusion.
Excellent.
So that was a new position created based on our conversations. And then together I said, hey, let's do an exhibit, and that's how the Still I Race exhibit came about. So all of these vehicles in the exhibit represent either the vehicle's historical significance or the driver's historical significance in the African American landscape of motorsports.
Excellent. Well, let's, you want to share a few of your favorites?
I'll talk to you about this one
I'd
right
love
here.
that.
So 1897 Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Indy 500, as we all know and love it, did not allow blacks to race, right? So blacks had to figure out their own ways and events. Right next door, Color Speedway Association was created, and they created something called the Golden Glory Sweepstakes. So it was held 4th of July every year, and that was their Indy 500. Right? So just coming up through racing at that time, there was a lot of heroes, and Rajo Jack was a gentleman, and he called himself a number of names. Dewey Gatson was one of them. He would act like he was an Argentinian man so he can go and race in some of these white-only events. His number was 99 on his car, which is the significance of 99 on this car. So fast forward to 1986, Willie T. Ribbs became the first African-American to test an Indy car. 1991, he became the first African-American to race in the Indianapolis 500. Force Indy, the actual team that runs this car, was built on diversity. All right, it's a diverse motorsports team, very deliberate on that message. And they have blacks, whites, men, women, all together on this team to promote diversity. Now, 2021, last year, Miles Rowe, 20 years old, piloted this car in the IndyCar sanctioned event, and he won. He became the first African-American to win an IndyCar sanctioned event. So you figure that's over 100 years later. But this is the progress that we're making. It's a slow roll, but things are happening, all right?
It's incredible.
We have, Destiny Spurlock, right?
We got a chance to meet her yesterday. She was lovely.
Isn't she awesome?
So
Man,
awesome.
She is awesome.
And incredible.
Yep, absolutely.
Very talented racer.
And this is her bike. She races, and she was the first woman ever to go 460 on a motorcycle. And then this is her bike, Pro Stock style bike. And she's actually in first place in her race series right now.
Yeah.
And if she wins next week, she'll be the first to win a championship in
We
a
are
motorcycle drag
definitely
racing
keeping our
series.
fingers crossed for her.
Absolutely.
Not that she needs it, but
So these are some of the individuals that we wanted to highlight. And we have drift cars, we have drag cars, we have motorcycles and Indy cars, just to show, because a lot of people just don't even realize these stories are untold.
They
These
are.
individuals don't have the opportunity to be on stages like this to tell this story until now. And even working with Pamela, I was on a diversity panel yesterday, and it was the first time ever that that's happened. On Friday, I'm hosting a panel with some of these individuals that are here.
Excellent.
And we're going to talk about just their experience in motorsports. And then we have big names that were able to stop by the booth. Antron Brown.
yeah,
my
we
man,
got a chance to
Antron.
see Antron. He's amazing too.
Antron was here. We have Bodie and Bodie Jr. from Street Outlaws. I
Nice.
was here. So we're giving everybody the opportunity to meet these faces if they don't already know them.
Right.
And just hear their stories. And it's awesome because people of all colors, walks of life are here watching this. And, the most important conversation I think I've had here, there was a gentleman that came to me on day one, and he said, Bubba Wallace. He said, I don't want to sound like a but Bubba Wallace. He's half white, right? And somebody jumped up, and I said, hold on. Let me use this as a teaching moment. And me and him spoke for 20 minutes. And he's like, I'm sorry, I just didn't know. I didn't understand. And that, to me, is the most important conversation. Everybody's not going to get it, but if we can have the dialogue, if you
Right.
can experience and learn, it'll change everything.
I think that's amazing. I think that's also a lot of burden to have to ask to have you be the educator instead of the people who are asking. But I think we all can appreciate that you are, and that this organization is doing that, that so many other people are willing to be educators and to be calm with people who kind of display that ignorance, come up to you with those kind of questions. So I think it's appreciated for this
appreciate
industry that still has a long way to go.
It's the final frontier. I say it all the
It
time.
is,
It's
in
the
fact.
final frontier. But you know what? There's a lot of good people of
There
all
are.
colors, shapes, and sizes. And doing things like this, you get to get them all out of the weeds sometimes. We all
Yeah.
can now get together, and there's strength in numbers. And I truly feel, even though we're called the African American Racers Association, just like the NAACP, it was founded with whites on the board, and
Right.
the Color Speedway Association, it's really a good thought versus bad thought.
Right.
I mean, look, our skin colors are as opposite as you can get, but we're here talking about
Exactly.
this. So it's like minds getting together, no matter what you look like, to be able to tell everybody's story. And, African Americans is just my battle that I'm taking on this.
Right. Well, we appreciate your time so much.
Thank you.
We really love it. And I'm wondering if you had any last final story you might want to tell us about one of these cars or about somebody involved in motorsports. Again, because I think these stories don't get told often enough. If there's anybody that you feel like doesn't get enough love.
Let's come to Tombo's bike. I have
Let's do
the most awesome story.
Perfect.
That kind of ties this all up. So Tommy Bolton, and he told me this story, and it took him 6 months of us knowing each other for him to tell me the story, and I got so mad at him. Like, why'd you wait? So he's from South Central LA. So him and his friends used to break into the Goodyear Blimp facility, right? And they used to test their bikes on the runway. So they say all the time the guys would chase them out, call the cops, and this, that, and the third. So there was one day, and he said they used to call him all sorts of names that we won't say.
Yes.
One day there was this white gentleman, seeing them go back and forth, and he just stands there, doesn't say anything, arms folded, and he's just watching. He's like that every day for like 3 weeks until finally the guy calls him over. So they're like, okay, we're out of here. They're going to dart out, but they decided not to dart out. Walk over to him. The guys, they're talking motorsports. They're
Right.
talking about their bikes. He's giving them tires. Listen, test these tires out. Let me know what you think. Don't race here, but you can test here as much as you want, no problem. That gentleman was Carroll Shelby.
Oh,
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
Insane? We talk about
That's
diversity
amazing.
and people not caring, and and they were 100% wrong. Has nothing to do with color, but some of the group were calling them racial slurs, and Carroll Shelby wasn't, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Cars, motorsports. This is a unifying thing,
Right.
and that's a great example of it."
That is an amazing example. Man, gives me a lot of fear.
Isn't that amazing? I was
It
like,
is
it took you
amazing.
6 months to tell
It
me this
is
story.
amazing.
I was like, Tomo, this is a first date story.
Yeah,
This is how you're supposed to
exactly.
do
Like
it.
this is how you.
Yeah.
This is how we move to the second date.
Yeah.
Maybe the third.
Yeah, 6 months. Come on, man. So
Oh my gosh, Chris, thank
Amazing
you
story.
so much for your time, the work that you guys are doing with the organization. Again, it was such a treat for us because we've seen a lot of people come up to the booth, seeing the stuff that you have shared with them, just seeing people admire them, read the history, learn more, expand their awareness of what racing and motorsports are. I think that's so much of it. People kind of close their eyes and like, it's always been like this. It's always been white. Well, no, those stories just haven't been told.
Haven't been told,
right?
and-
It is the importance of that history of like knowing it so that you can truly embrace it and move forward.
big shout out to you guys. You know, you guys actually came over here. You took the initiative, and I'm a big fan of Racing Junk. I stare at it all day and
Yes.
look at cars that I probably have no intention on buying.
We love
And,
that. That's just fine.
That's what we do. And,
Please come and browse.
And then you guys almost got me one time. So, but I love
One
it.
of these days.
I encourage everybody to go on Racing Junk. It's,
Excellent.
I love it.